When you shoot 29% from the field and you're down 19 at the half and you only scored 21 points in the first half, Joanna, it just was not the Jayhawks' night. And then it just gets worse in the second half. USC outscores them by 15. When you think that maybe the Jayhawks could rally, maybe they could look at themselves in the mirror at halftime and say, why are we down 19 points? Why did we only score 21 points in the first half against the Trojans from the University of Southern California? Maybe we can go out there. Bill Self can get his kids together and they can rally back and make it a game and make it a competitive game and possibly come back and beat the Trojans. But no, they didn't. It just continued to spiral out of control for Kansas. That's why they lost by 34 and they are out. It was just a disappointing season for Kansas. Not one of their best seasons that we're characteristically used to seeing from the Kansas Jayhawks. We're usually used to seeing them much higher in the Big 12 and much higher ranked and a lot more victories, a lot less losses than 9 losses in a season. It was just one of those years for the Jayhawks as well, Joanna, just not an ideal situation for them. Again, another blue blood organization that just struggled this season. They weren't the only ones, but we're talking about the Jayhawks. They are the center of emphasis right now in the conversation. And it is very disappointing. They lost by 34.
Mm-hmm. Very disappointing. And I actually had them going on one of my brackets all the way to Elite Eight, going to against another team, which, I'll mention later. But
did you have them beating USC in the 32?
Well, I didn't even have USC making the run like they did. I actually had Drake. I was actually going for an upset there, Drake against USC.
Oh, you thought Drake was going to beat them in the first round?
But then I had Kansas going all the way to Sweet 16. But then again, I also had Iowa making it further out and making it to the Elite Eight. So none of that was seen to fruition at all.
No, that didn't happen. That's
not in that area there.
No, that's not in the cards. That's not going to happen.
So that was, that half there was busted.
Yeah, the basketball gods did not smile on you with that matchup, getting Iowa to the Elite Eight. Nope, didn't work.
But this side of the bracket's doing a little bit better than on the other side of the bracket because that was brutal. I will say.
Yeah. But I looked at your bracket at lunch on Saturday, and all I saw was Illinois, all the way to the Final Four, and then I just laughed at you, and you were just like, yeah, that didn't. Yeah, yep, there it is. There's the evidence of it. Illinois, look at them.
And all those crosses crossed out on both. So, but the other one's looking a little bit better, and let's we go ahead and go on to the other part of the West here. But Virginia and Ohio putting up a fight there. They actually won the upset over Virginia. It's 58-62, which was another close game. So Ohio had what they put up the fight, went ahead and defeated Virginia, but did not really stand a chance against Creighton, as Creighton is with the number 5 seed. So I was actually hoping to see Virginia and Creighton in the second round, but Ohio took that spot.
That would have been a good game. But give Ohio props. They knocked off the national champions, held them to 58 points, and knocked them out in the first round. The number 4 seeded Cavaliers knocked them off, and then they ran into the Creighton Blue Jays. They've had their issues. Goodness knows they've had their issues from a personal standpoint with their head coach and everything, but they fought through all that. They beat Cal Santa Barbara, barely slipped by them in the first round, Joanna, 63-62, and then they knocked off Ohio by 14, setting up a date with the Juggernauts.
With the Bulldogs, my guys, my boys. So which we'll get there in a second. But before that happens, what Gonzaga had to do and look at as they got to set a date with Creighton. Gonzaga, who is a number one seed, and should I say it? I'm scared to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to jinx it. I'm not saying it.
Undefeated
against Norfolk State. So that there was, can we even call that a game, Ed? 98-55?
No. Gonzaga was up by 20 at the half, and you just knew it was over, I
felt so bad for Norfolk. So bad. I still do. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so heart-wrenching to watch. So, and then they went ahead and go on Monday, Gonzaga against Oklahoma. I will say I did not miss that game, even though it was during the day and I had other duties to tend to. I did not, if I couldn't watch it on TV, I was listening in my ears. Mm-hmm. So that was a close game because
it was,
Gonzaga wasn't in the best of places going against Oklahoma as the game started and going into the half. So they were losing. They fell behind. And it was a little bit scary. Like, is Gonzaga going to come back for this? Because I think there was over 10 points that they fell behind at one point, and then Gonzaga came up to the half.
Yep, and they were up by 12 at the half. Mm-hmm.
Yep, they were up by 12. They turned it around, like literally 360 there. And once they did that, came back for the second half, it was sayonara, Oklahoma.
Don't you mean a 180? 360? If they do a 360, they're back where they started from. Yeah.
I'm too excited here. A 180. They did a total 180. Sorry. Thank you, Ed.
I know what you meant.
A total 180. Apparently I can't do math when I'm talking. I'm too overly excited and talking sports.
Yeah. But, like I've never used that. Like I've never messed up 180 and 360 before in my life. That was a good game. Oklahoma, again, another team just 16-11 this year. And they were okay. They hung with the Bulldogs as long as they could with the number one team in the country, the only undefeated team left in college basketball. As I say it for a second time, Joanna, I'm sure you're going to cringe. Only undefeated team in the country. What are they, 28-0? Okay.
They go off and face Creighton
on Sunday. Yeah, Creighton's going to be no joke, Joanna. You guys are going to be up against a really tough basketball team. Creighton's for real.
Yes, because Creighton came into the tournament 20-8. So
number 19 in the country. They're a top 20 team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have here on at least that's still to the Sweet 16. Creighton. I have Gonzaga and Creighton, which that's still standing there. My prediction for the Elite Eight, of course, you know who that is, Ed.
Yeah.
Gonzaga. Yeah. Of course. And I had that actually on both my brackets.
Really?
So actually on my other bracket, my
that's not that much of a stretch.
Bracket, actually.
Yeah, that's not much of a stretch, is it?
Virginia. So at least on my logical sense, Gonzaga and Creighton made it.
I would have liked to have seen Gonzaga against the national champions. That would have been a really good game. But Gonzaga Creighton's going to be a good one too.
Mm-hmm. So I have Gonzaga going all the way through. Obviously, I'm not going to get to see in the Elite Eight Gonzaga and Iowa. Iowa's out. Mm-hmm. And the other one, my other second option was Kansas. So that's a no-go there. But at least I get some of my picks here going
Did you just say who you have in the Elite Eight, Gonzaga against USC or Oregon?
Well, I had originally Iowa. Now
yes.
With who the team with now?
Now, yeah, right now.
I have Gonzaga.
Ooh. USC, Oregon. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Oregon, they knocked off Iowa. They're 21-6. They were 14-4 in the Pac-12. Joanna, USC is outstanding, but they were 15-5 in the Pac-12. They're 24-7. That is the definition of a pick'em game, really. 6-7 matchup, Pac-12. Pac-12 implications here.
Oh my God, I know.
Yes, USC and Oregon. They played this year.
Oregon?
I'm looking at their schedule.
I lost me in Oregon here.
Yeah, they played Oregon earlier this year. They beat them. They beat Oregon this year, back in February. So they have played Oregon this year. They have beaten them this year. Okay.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. Oregon beating Iowa, number 2, VCU, number 10, and we have USC, who's same situation.
And then USC just steamrolls Kansas. Oregon put up almost 100 on Iowa. 90. They put a 95 spot on them.
Well, Oregon. Well, it was a no contest. Oregon against VCU because VCU they actually had a bit of an outbreak and they had the COVID outbreaks. Yep. So that was just,
unfortunately
unfortunate situation there, which then just gave the victory to Oregon.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for VCU.
So I don't know.
My goodness, that is. Are we gonna do our elite 8 picks now?
Yes, we will. Mm-hmm. So I have here for my Elite Eight with what's standing now.
Yeah,
let's go ahead and go back. Let's go back, take it back and go south. Well,
yeah, because West is, that's a tough one.
Okay. Well, no. Yes, let's go ahead and do that because I can still manage with what I have in my bracket, which then will give my predictions to the final teams. Oh my gosh. So Here are my predictions for the Sweet 16 going into the Elite 8. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Do I really have to do this, Ed?
Yes, we have to. This is our only chance to do it because we're on the air. It's Wednesday night. This is our only show of the week.
Okay, let's start with the Midwest. Will we? Can we?
Yes, sure.
So Syracuse. Oh my God!
I'm looking at all 16 of these teams, Joanna, and I'm just like, just that phrase. You know what that means?
Face to palm. Face to palm.
Yes.
Literally, I just did that face to my palm.
And me, I wear glasses. This is a glasses taking off moment. Like, all right, let me. We just.
So, okay. So let's start with Syracuse and Houston, Ed.
Okay.
I really need a whole other new bracket for this. No joke.
Syracuse, Houston.
Syracuse and Houston. Who do we have there? Oh my gosh. I don't know. You go first. I'm deflecting over to you.
Just looking 11 versus 2, you would immediately, a lot of people would immediately say the Houston Cougars should run by Syracuse. And I think it's going to be a tight game because Syracuse is going to make it tight. In the end, I think Houston's, they've got more talent than Syracuse. They've got more talent than the Orange. That's why they're the number 2 seed in the Midwest bracket. And I think Houston's going to come out on Saturday.
I hear what you're saying, and I totally get you, Ed. Totally do for Houston. However,
you gonna flip it?
Look at Syracuse. I'm flipping it. Look at Syracuse.
Okay.
Number 11 team, upsetting teams here.
They beat the number 16. Yes, they beat San Diego State and the number 3 seed. Okay.
It was a close West Virginia Syracuse game, and I have a feeling that's going to be a similar situation with Houston. But here, I'm going to go for the upset of Syracuse over Houston.
I'm going to stick with Houston, but I can see where you're coming from. For Syracuse to hold the number 6 seeded San Diego State Aztecs to 62 points, and then West Virginia, the Mountaineers, to 72 points. They like to play defense clearly. Mm-hmm. It could be a defensive game. Rutgers held Houston to 63 points. That was a tight game for Houston. So both teams are used to tight basketball games in the tournament. So it should be another good defensive game.
Yes, it is. I'm looking forward to that game. So let's go ahead and go on to Loyola Chicago and Oregon State.
Ooh, okay.
I will go ahead and jump in here because I already know who I'm going to pick, and I am actually going to go for Loyola Chicago. I'm sticking with Chicago teams, Illinois teams.
Paul would love to hear you say that.
He would. I know he would.
And he'll love to hear me say that I'm going to go for Loyola Chicago too.
Wow, we're agreeing on this one, Ed.
Although Oregon State has had a good road to the Sweet 16 with beating Tennessee and then beating Oklahoma State, being a 5 and a 4. But I think Loyola Chicago, they're on a mission.
They are.
They knocked off the number 1 seed. They showed who's the best team in Illinois, who's the top dog in the state of Illinois, knocking off the Fighting Illini. I think they're going to beat Oregon State.
Right. So that's
although it would be great to see another Pac-12 team make it to the Elite 8, but I just think Loyola Chicago has too much for them.
I agree.
Joe, isn't it great to see the Pac-12 having this much success? These many teams this late in the tournament?
It is. You've
got 4 teams, right? Yeah. Oregon State, USC, so. Oregon, and UCLA. That's great.
Yes. Very, very excited to see. It's going to, let's see if it ends up being a Pac-12 tournament. From March Madness, NCAA to a Pac-12 tournament here.
Well, of course, we'll get to the West. We know we're going to have at least one Pac-12 team in the Elite 8.
Yeah, I think Bob probably.
But we'll get to the West.
Let's go ahead and go on to the South. We have Arkansas and Oral Roberts. So Oral Roberts have been the team to beat, and they've just been surprising here against Arkansas, the number 3, which have really they've just been who they are. So here, oh my goodness, being Oral Roberts, how they've come out and surprised everyone, I'm going to go ahead and keep with Oral Roberts here and going for the upset against Arkansas. Me
too. I got Oral Roberts. Yeah, they're going to beat the number 2 seed, beat the number 7 seed, then they're going to beat the number 3 seed and go to the Elite 8. Oral Roberts, that's my choice too.
My 2 teams in the South, Baylor and Villanova. I can't.
You have to. You have to put your logical thinking cap on this one.
Do you want me to say my pick for the logical bracket?
Yes.
Villanova.
Goodness gracious.
I know. But then Baylor, you look at Baylor and it's like another Gonzaga situation.